I want to talk to you about bangles. Okay, I'm a huge Susanna Hoffs fan, and you may be watching this on a manic Monday, but I'm talking about the bangles that have to do with jewelry. You know, rings, necklaces, earrings, bracelets. There's a long history of when people actually started wearing jewelry, and much of it began before anyone was walking like an Egyptian. Hippies, a dog named Fala, and inexpensive plastic. What do they have in common? If you guessed 20th century jewelry, you are correct. And you're a genius.
The jewelry of the 20th century really differs from pretty much every century before in terms of affordability and accessibility. Everybody could have jewelry now.
I met up with curator Charles Sable, who explained how jewelry was influenced by political and cultural events, starting with the Bakelite Boom, a lightweight plastic that took the jewelry world by storm in the 1920s and 30s.
This little hat clip right down here on the bottom was meant for a lady's hat in the 1920s.
Okay, and this would have been clipped to the cloche.
The side of the hat, yes.
Like kind of like Jean Harlow. Or
exactly, exactly.
But that boom went bust when the Great Depression hit. Companies turned to cheaper materials to stay afloat, and Americans gobbled them up.
This watch was sold for $1.98. If you look at the bracelet, it's pierced, okay? So it looks fancy. It's just simply stamped out. And then there are grooves which shimmer in the light, which look like rhinestones. People in the Depression just didn't have money, so they relied on things like these aluminum belts, which were cheap, and it was meant to look handmade and expensive, but it was mass-produced and simply punched out.
Another newcomer, Carolyn, the so-called Cadillac of plastics.
It was a heat-injected plastic that was put into a mold, like these bracelets, and could be produced in vibrant colors. You could get them at a 5 and 10 cent store, at least if you had a few pennies or some dimes or quarters or whatever.
Jewelry got a pop of pop culture in the 1940s. Perfect example? Meet Fala, President Franklin Roosevelt's beloved Scottish Terrier, a media darling immortalized on this wooden pin.
People loved him. You could get Fala in little ceramic dogs, you could get Fala tea sets, you could get Fala jewelry.
Okay, this looks like a puzzle.
It is. It's meant for a child. It's polyvinyl chloride, which is the successor to Catalin and Bakelite in the 1950s. It's a cute little piece.
So for kids, it's a good way to keep them from biting their nails.
Exactly.
In the late 50s and 60s, jewelry and politics joined forces as the anti-war movement exploded in the U.S., protesters often wearing peace signs. Your jewelry was really saying something.
Yes, it was. It was saying, I am an activist, I am politically aware, and I'm very much against this Vietnam War. You'd buy one of those things and say, ooh, this is groovy.
Like this retro rhinestone bracelet. Oh my gosh, it's sparkling.
It's what we would call blingy today.
It's blingy. It's very good, blingy. Blingy. I like it. I'm thinking vocabulary word for sure.